welcome to Reality Test. I'm Dr. Ray.
And I'm Dr. Kay. Feel free to check in and take a seat wherever you like. We're going to do another deep dive into the Love is Blind world.
So excited. This has been a hell of a season, and hopefully no spoilers at this point if you're watching this, but the first season where no one got married, like kind of wild.
Mm-hmm. It truly is. What a season of firsts.
Indeed. Yeah. Just people are saying things about the dating scene in Denver, and who knows, maybe they're right. I look forward to reading those think pieces, or, tell us about them in the chat. We would love to hear more about what the dating scene in Denver is right or is like. But according to what this show has to say, it's rough out there.
And also it's right on the right politically. So that was a really good Freudian slip. Apparently it's right, but it isn't. I heard mostly it's not. This is a bad representation of it because they are also on the right politically, but it's very blue dot in state. So
wonder what that is all about. The only one who seems more liberal to me was Megan, but then she at the beginning had said she liked traditional gender roles. So I was like,
and she follows Turning Point.
Oh.
Yeah, it turns out she's also on the right. I think who was it that was liberal? There was two people that are a little bit liberal, but I don't even remember who it was. But yeah, mostly they're all not. They're all on the right side, apparently politically. But I think when I was thinking about it, one of the things this is my theory on it. I was listening to a podcast talking about America's Next Top Model. They talked about this guy who did the assessments for America's Next Top Model, and now he does it for lots of shows. He's worked for Survivor, He's worked for lots of different shows, and he does in his assessment measure. One of the things he's looking for is narcissism. He wants them to have a little bit of narcissism because it helps them feel like they're good enough to be on stage, basically on the scene, on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about how the overlap of narcissism and the right side politically could be a part of why. Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong. Shit.
Is there a lot of right side?
Yeah. I had seen something about this was just as I was scrolling around, but something about how Love is Blind tends to attract more Christian-minded people who tend to be more on the right. But I think your analysis is a little more, gets maybe straight at the heart of the matter. I kind of buy what you're saying a little more than
both. Yeah, totally. I can totally see both. That's true. Because there are also some towns, I bet, that there are less Christian. I feel like sometimes it's also geographically where they are overlaps well with Christian or Christianity. I wonder what Boston will be like.
Yeah.
Because they have the Irish Catholic overlap in Boston.
That's true. So it could still happen.
And they certainly have some narcissism there too. Yeah. So we shall see. Yeah, it's interesting. So I think between those two things, it certainly would make a lot of sense. They'd attract more people who are on the right politically. And I think a lot of reality dating shows do. If you think about The Bachelor, that attracts a lot of people on the right side, even though the audience is much more mixed and even maybe more liberal leaning than it seems based on who's on the show. But then, yeah, it's interesting to think about.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, speaking of interesting, what? Yeah,
we'll be deep diving into that.
Yes.
Tell me.
Before that, I want to hear about what article you brought in today.
Absolutely. Yes. Like this, we've restructured. We're going to start with our studies and then do a quick check-in. So my study today is actually my student's study that she presented at a conference today. So I'm going to share about that. We'll highlight because it's interesting and I think it'll be of interest to you. So it is in the world of sports psychology. And the idea is a proposal of a study because it's dissertation proposal. But she's going to be looking at the patriarchal psychology, the psychological patriarchy that is involved in athletes and the sports arena because of the way that we sort of cheer on sports athletes with sort of get it or fight the fight or get out there and get them or whatever. There's sort of a patriarchal language that we use in sports that's very hegemonically masculine. So pushing masculine norms. And so first of all, women in the sport world are fairly encouraged to be more masculine in general because of that. But then also her argument is that sort of psychological patriarchy is also creating some of the disparities in health, things like suicide and sexual assault and dominance. Those kind of things are further perpetuated by that need for exceptionalism and masculine dominance. Versus if you talk about play and collaboration, it could be a totally different outcome. And so in that way, the idea is that we're working towards eventually being able to queer language and like queer the language to be more feminine and also. So we're hoping to move towards that. And also today at the conference, there was a woman who was talking to us about it, and she started to leave and she goes, "Fight the fight." And we like thought she was being ironic. So we're like, yeah, like, haha, that's funny. And then she came back like all ashamed. She's like, "I didn't even realize I did that." She's like, "I'm so embarrassed." It's like, it was so funny because it's like that's how ingrained it is. Even though she was excited about our idea and like fully in it, she still couldn't help but say something that was patriarchal and dominance oriented. And I love that example. I think Fight the Fight is a great example. It's a really good, like, militaristic, psychologically patriarchal concept. So,
I do love that she like took the time to come back and check in and be like, "Oh, I did the thing." Like, I think that's really like lovely.
I was like, "You didn't even have to do that. That was so good of you. Thank you. Like, that was really nice. That's nice for a really cool example that I like gave future people that came to talk to us about it and stuff too. So it was a good example of it. It's just so ingrained in us.
Truly is. Oh, I'm so excited as someone who's also on this person's proposal. I'm excited to see where this comes and where it goes, and yeah, kind of what comes from it is what I was trying to say, and how we can queer language. Yes, what comes, all the things, and how we can kind of think about the patriarchy differently, because gosh, is it everywhere and how we speak. I use a lot of sayings, and I'm sure I need to rethink half of them. So I look forward to going on this journey with you all.
I love that. Love that. It is funny. It's a good thought exercise. Like, what do you say instead? Like, how do you like cheer on your kids in sports by being like, go have fun with each other, like take care of each other. You know, it's like, but we do we say like just have fun, or you know, some of it we do, but it's going to be fun to think about like what would you say that's supportive but collaborative and playful instead of
kill them or whatever. Like people say some weird shit out there, and it's not great. Do your best. I like do your best. I've always liked do your best in sports. That always comforted me because I was like, as long as I do my best, like that's really all anyone can ask for.
Truly. Just get out there and have fun and do your best. Like, and in my study that I did for the episode that I did a solo dolo, the whole point of the study was that this woman found that if you say, "I am excited," not when you're feeling nervous, if you just say to yourself, "I'm excited," you perform better. So same thing for the kiddos. You can say like, just say you're excited, go out there and have fun. You'll do well.
You'll do your best. Bring it into reality.
Exactly. What was your study?
So mine was about women's relative resources and couples' gender balance and financial decision making. This is by Klisment and Van Bavel. And essentially what this study shows is that when women make less than men, men have more financial decision-making power. The reverse is not necessarily true. When women make more than men, men still have like a good amount of decision-making power, certainly more than women do in the reverse situation. And then I forget what it says if it's equal, but I think it says that maybe men have a little more decision-making power, which is pretty much like no doubt research. But I was just thinking about what is out there on gender roles and, financial disparities, especially with the class difference we saw with Sparkle Megan and Jordan, and how that kind of played out in real time. I was just interested what the literature has to say about this. And in my very limited search, I didn't find too much, but I maybe didn't find the right terms yet. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's super interesting. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Actually, that's good to think about because being doctors, we both have the potential of being in relationships where we do make more. And that's an interesting dynamic to think about. And then I also think the other thing is that Meg didn't want, I think Jordan didn't want her to pay for him. Like he didn't want to go do those things because he didn't want her to pay for him. And I feel like that's a really common dynamic too. It's like men don't want the woman to pay for them to do certain things. Like it makes them feel emasculated, I guess is the idea. But it's sort of interesting that the reverse isn't true. So then that's another, this opens up another reason for that. It's like they want to have financial dominant, like the decision-making dominance. And so if you're paying for them to do a thing you want to do, but not only are they not the ones paying for it, they're also not the ones making the decisions for the money.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think that, and then Jordan, instead of like, I think he in theory loved that she was like an independent woman and saw this as like his like leveling up, if you will. But then in practice, he was stubborn about it and actually resented her lifestyle instead of kind of like enjoying it with her, which I think is truly all she was asking for. Well, that's not all she was asking for. We'll get into that, but that was a thing she was asking for.
Totally. And like, yes, he's a hands-on dad. And also some of those trips don't need to be a whole week before you see your kid again. Like he's splitting time with his ex-lady friend. So therefore they could like, even if he hasn't every weekend, he could be gone for like a Monday, Tuesday, or like, you know, there's a way to kind of, he kind of was like all in or all out, you know, sort of like, I can't do any of it.
Mm-hmm. Very black and white in how he saw that near the end. But
so our second is that want to parlay it into your time.
Yes, I am glad to be feeling better. I got the norovirus this week. It was really gnarly for 24 hours. I'm not drinking alcohol, which any longtime listeners will know I normally do when we pod. Poor me, so hard drinking tea. I'm not back to coffee yet, but it was gnarly for 24 hours. And I hate getting sick. I feel like I get sick more as I age. Maybe I'm traveling more. I don't know what it is, but yeah, but it was a good trip that I had. The neurovirus was hard, but then what I really appreciated about it is when you start to feel better, you really appreciate like what better feels like. It's like a very nice, like, oh, so I've just been appreciating feeling more sharp today and a little more well. So it's been nice. Yeah.
The book that I was pulling some of those studies from about happiness, like when I was saying like the intentional activities, but about something they were talking about this book by this guy from Harvard on happiness. And he talks about the fact that we like typically are happy in reaction. Like when we're like, so like we get sick, we feel better because we're not sick anymore. So like comparatively. And so he's like, we need to like do better at like recognizing what we have in front of us in between, you know? So I've been trying to challenge myself to do that lately. And sometimes I do it anyway. Like the things where like I stop and look at the sunset, I'm like such that nerd. And I try to like teach my bonus daughter about that too. It's like just pull over and look at the sunset sometimes, or like take pictures or what, you know. But it is that's more so the area where I'm already doing it. But like, yeah, remembering that like, thank goodness I don't have to vomit right now, or like, you know, I don't have to cough. My lungs feel fine. To keep appreciating that too.
Yeah. I do feel like you're better at that than most. Like I feel like you are good at taking in moments. And it's humbling to know that even you have work to do, because I see you as someone who's pretty good at it. And yet I guess we're all on a journey with appreciating things.
Totally. That's very nice. So thank you. That makes me feel good. Yeah. Just said like about pictures. This is my other real journey, is that he was like, taking pictures does help if you only take like one and you don't take it right away. So like basically he's like, if you take a minute to take in what you're looking at first in person, and then take like one good picture and then like enough, you know? And then he's like, and then you also have to like bring back that picture, like print it out. So I told my husband that I'm going to get a big bulletin board that takes up a whole wall. And I'm just going to start printing pictures and putting them up on the bulletin board. That's my plan for appreciating moments more. So.
I love that. That's good because I take a lot. We haven't even like started to go through our wedding photos. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. We never printed anything with ours either. Like my mom gave us a wedding book of pictures that like weren't the ones I would choose per se, but they were good. But yeah, so we still never did our own. So we need to do. It's so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get our pictures more.
Totally.
My check-in is just that I did the conference today. So that's where the study came from. My student, she did a beautiful job. Her first, person that came up and asked a question, she sort of like fumbled through it, what you do, first poster, first presentation you do. But then from then on was like smooth like butter, and was so into it. It was so cool. There were a lot of people that came to our poster too, which was cool in the room. So it felt good for her and her idea, and also her ability to talk about it, elevator talk. So yeah, it was fun.
Yay. That's wonderful. Very exciting.
Okay, so deep dive. Let me see first. We are psychologists, psychotherapists, but we are not your psychotherapists. We have some clients that listen, so that's not true for you. But I will also say that we are going to talk about diagnoses, maybe like adjacent, or talk about things that we talk about in our psychology world. We're both professors, so there are things we talk about regularly, but we're not actually diagnosing them because we'd have to have an in-depth psychological assessment with them to be able to do that. So Basically, we're going to go in order of breakups except for Nick and Annie. Why don't we just do that first? Because no, they were after Madison Joe, so we'll do them second.
Perfect.
Why don't you start with Madison Joe?
So, my thoughts on Madison and Joe. First of all, Joe's self-image is way off. I think he maybe said he was like a golden retriever boyfriend, and I actually found him to be quite mean. It was clear that he was not attracted to Madison, but he has watched the show enough to know that he doesn't want to come off as like the bad guy. He knows enough to know what not to do.
Right.
And it seems like it was like a sizeism issue. We could see the meanness in the way he treated like Jordan and the other guys. He never really directed it at Madison, but you could kind of feel it under the surface. And unfortunately, I think he would be like, maybe he is a golden retriever boyfriend if he perceives the person he's with to be of his caliber or whatever.
Better.
Yeah, or better. But yeah, he just unfortunately had sizeism. And he even like when they were breaking up was like saying things like, I don't know if we would have gotten to know each other. And I'm like, you're such a dick. Like, I just can't with you. And yet he was confusing her because he was still having sex with her. So maybe he has internalized shame about the fact that he likes women in bigger bodies. I don't fucking know what's going on with him.
Right.
But
she's
I don't
like bigger. Like she's like not even big. I mean, the thing is like cameras add weight and like, but she's not big. You know what I mean? Like she's not plus size model. She's, she's like still smaller than plus size. I think she, she's probably bigger than what he was used to because he dated itty bitty, but I kind of was like, and she's hot and she's gorgeous. Right. So like,
she's gorgeous. Yeah. I'm sure he wants like a size 0 blonde, short, like
Casey, whom he dated, by the way. So we're going to find that out on the reunion, but he dated Casey too, which like, of course he did.
Of course he did. Of course those two found each other. And it's like, don't go on this show if you actually have very specific tastes in what you're into. Like you are just not going to be successful. And Madison, my take on her, she was insecure in the relationship. There were times when when they were drinking and she was like giving him the third degree where I was like, this is only going to go poorly. Right. Like I saw some emotional immaturity in some of her actions, certainly. And it's like hard to judge her because when you're with someone who's not like giving you what you need, you're going to act in ways that are like not congruent with who you are. I think we really saw her shine when she was with Joe's family and she felt more at ease and they all were like obsessed with her. And then he was a little more into her for a minute. But yeah, I feel for her. I wish her well. She deserves so much better than she got with him. So that's my take on them, but I'm curious to hear yours.
Yes, definitely. I would support that with additional details of like, I felt like he was a bro, like a frat boy, like how he was with Jordan at the bar, was like more flirting than he ever did with Madison, and it also was like the whole drinking thing was like so defensive, but also felt like trauma being triggered of a sort, like the way that he was when she came back into the room and he was like, and I did this for the deep dive episode too, but this is something I didn't say there, but I did a little bit of it. Anyway, point being, so he came back into the room and when she woke him up, there were like two things that he like did defensively. Like one was that suddenly he was denying that he drank too much. Like that went the complete, he was like, no, I don't think so. Mm-mm. So like clearly he's been given shit about his drinking before and has gotten in trouble with it. Whether that's like through his parents or a previous girlfriend, my thought is his previous girlfriend or somebody like that. And then the other type of thing that got triggered was him being like, why are you all dressed up? Where were you? Like, which felt so much like he's been cheated on or something, like he was like reacting to her as having maybe cheated on him, even though like, he like didn't remember that they were there together, but still it just felt like so like guttural. And so like, I think he was pretty awful to her in that scene. Like when he was then in the bathroom, like laughing at her and sort of like, just like, just sort of like, wow, what are you around? He's like, wow, I just fucking woke up, okay? Like, I don't know. He just sort of was like being like, and it was driving her, it was like making her crazy to be like, we just had this conversation. And then she like goes and cries and like hopes he'll come and take care of her. And that was what you and I talked about that day where we were like, it's like Ryan, it's like if you're with somebody who doesn't see, but like when you're trying to move, should you go comfort them? Then you're like, I was like, yeah.
Well, we did that. Woo-woo. Go team. I love a good deep dive. That was fun.
I know, that is fun. I'm glad we'll do that more.
Thanks.
So come back, friends. And in the meantime, you can check us on social medias or on Patreon. On Patreon, patreon.com/realitytest, capital RT. You can do at reality test in our search bar, though, once you go to patreon.com. You can also find us on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, FaceTime, and Facebook at Reality Test Pod. Or if you add a cast at the end of that, you'll find us on Instagram. But we also are at our individual ones at Dr. Ray Pods and Dr. K Pods for me on Instagram only. You can also find me on at drdr.realitytv, though, on TikTok. And then last but not least, we're on email, realitycheckpodding@gmail.com.
Yes. And to Dr. K's point, if you do FaceTime us, or I'm sorry, if you join our Patreon, then we'll FaceTime you. We'll FaceTime the first 5 new members for 5 minutes. Yeah, why not? We'll keep the 5 thing going. Yeah.
Get in there.
Yeah.
You at least can get the audio released early if you join us as a free member too. Fucking free, fully free. Get your episodes the night before, and we usually release them. And then also if you just pay $5 a month, just a measly $5 a month, then you can also get our full video episodes and other video content. I have a fun behind the scenes video to put out soon that I will show you first, obviously, Dr. Ray, and then release it. So yeah, check it out. Come hang out on there.
And yes, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and tell all your friends. And your financial support means the world if you can. If you can't, keep hanging out with us.
Hey, glad you're here. And hi, friends, that you have come because you were told about it. And tell your friends. Mm-hmm. And we will see you all next session.
Bye. Bye.